Our final section of Chapter 4 will deal with the strikes of the late 1800s. We're going to start with the Haymarket Square Riot, which occurred on May 4th, 1886 in Chicago. There was a group of demonstrators that were demonstrating for an 8-hour workday. During this strike, someone threw a bomb into the midst of the crowd, killing a policeman. The authorities arrested 8 anarchists and tried them, and 4 were executed. Now, the Knights of Labor were involved with this strike, and they were blamed for the death and the carnage that occurred during the Haymarket Square Riot, and because of the bad publicity, they fizzled out. However, the bad publicity did not only stick with the Knights of Labor, but with unions in general. And because of this, labor unions became known for violence, and people began to associate labor unions with violence. So labor unions really took a black eye because of the Haymarket Square Riot. Our next strike is the Homestead Strike that occurred at one of Andrew Carnegie's steel plants in Pennsylvania. This was during the summer of 1892, and Andrew Carnegie, incidentally, was not on the scene during this time. He was taking a trip overseas, and his number 2 man, whose last name was Frick, was in charge. Mr. Frick, the plant manager, called in the Pinkerton Guards, which were a private police force, to put down the strike, and a 2-week standoff occurred. Now, in the public's eye, the labor unions were again guilty of instigating violence. The union eventually called off the strike. This was another loss for labor unions, not only in this particular strike, but in the court of public opinion. Our third strike is the Pullman Strike, which occurred in 1893 and occurred at the Pullman Palace Car Company. George Pullman had cut wages by almost 1/4, and because of this, workers had sent a delegation to negotiate with him. Pullman refused to even talk to the negotiators, and when this happened, the workers called in a prime socialist and prime unionist of the time period, a man named Eugene V. Debs. He orchestrated a nationwide strike which halted nearly all railroad traffic within the United States. Now, this got so bad that President Grover Cleveland, had to step in. He had to call in troops to end the strike. Now, this was another strike that hurt the reputation of labor unions, because the result of all these railroads being shut down was that people were not receiving necessary items that they needed to live their day-to-day life: coal, oil, food, etc. Debs was sent to prison, and the labor unions were left yet again with a bad reputation in public opinion. Now, this concludes Chapter 4. It is 3 parts. Please read the notes, listen to the online lecture, and if you have any questions, write them down on a piece of paper or shoot me an email, and we will discuss them in class. Thank you all, and have a great day.